Ladies and gentlemen of Remington Park, good evening and welcome to your co-main event of the evening. 6 rounds of boxing scheduled in the middleweight division. Brought to you by the original Sailor Jerry Spiced Rum. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in at an official 165 pounds. His professional record stands 5 wins with 2 defeats with 1 draw. 3 wins coming by way of knockout. From Stillwater, Oklahoma, ladies and gentlemen, Paul the Pistol Gutierrez. And his opponent from across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. He weighed in at an official 160 pounds. His professional record stands at 3 wins with 1 defeat. 2 wins coming by way of knockout. From Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, ladies and gentlemen, Maurice the Bounty Hunter Williams. We go to Gary Ritter for your instructions.
Now, even though this fight is being fought at super middle, Maurice Williams is the current junior middleweight champion of Oklahoma. Stepped up for this fight against Paul Gutierrez, and if you look over at Williams' corner, you'll see world-ranked middleweight fighter Carson Jones. Darren Humphrey, how much difference can the corner make?
Well, it can make a real big difference. If Paul's been sparring with Mr. Gibbs, I wouldn't be surprised if Maurice has been sparring a little bit with Carson.
The two in ring center feeling each other out, trading a few jabs. Both look pretty warmed up. Williams dancing in his corner before the fight started. And he lands a nice right hand.
Yeah, and he followed that up with a good left hook, too.
Punch and cover up. Punch and cover up.
Maurice Williams, originally from St. Paul, Minnesota, came to Oklahoma City specifically to train at Rival Boxing Gym. And so far, he looks the crisper of the two. Tell us what you see so far, Darren.
Well, I agree with you. I think Williams definitely looks the crisper of the two. He's throwing a good long jab, throwing a nice left hook, following it, and here he's turned southpaw.
I was just going to say, once again, do we see fighters switching up stance, even in the first round?
Yeah, and I'm sure he's doing that to confuse Gutierrez.
Good movement, baby. Good movement. Good movement. Pump that jab out there. Good, baby.
Williams counter-punching very effectively as he waits for Gutierrez to come in, but Gutierrez lands a couple nice shots against the ropes. As we look up directly above us here in the neutral corner, we can see that Gutierrez is already bleeding from his mouth.
Yeah, he is. In this corner, when they were over here in the neutral corner, it looked like Gutierrez threw a couple of good right hooks to the body, which, Maurice at that point then moved out of the corner. Good jab by Williams there.
Williams, a very effective counter-puncher. He hasn't initiated a lot of the exchanges, but he certainly gets the better of them when they mix it up.
There you go. Get that body while you're down there. Get that body while you're down there.
How rusty does Gutierrez look to you?
Well, it's hard to tell. He looks a little bit rusty. I don't know if it's because he's been out of the ring for 18 months or that Maurice Williams is making him look rusty.
Gutierrez just hasn't been able to find his range quite yet with that jab. Hasn't used it to any great effect yet, but he's still trying to work off of it.
Yeah,
Williams,
he is.
Very effective counterpuncher.
Yeah, and I feel like Williams has the longer arms. He definitely looks longer, and I think he's got the speed advantage as well.
10 seconds left in the first round of our co-main event tonight. Maurice Williams versus Paul Gutierrez. Round 2 coming up. We are back. Remington Park Casino in Oklahoma City. Super middleweights, Maurice Williams in red, Paul Gutierrez in blue. Ringside, former heavyweight champion Darren Humphrey. Darren, tell us how you scored the first round.
I think I'd certainly give that first round to Williams. I felt like he landed the crisper, harder shots. He just looks a little more comfortable in there to me.
And now Williams is unloading. Gutierrez appears to be in trouble, but is coming back with some nice punch of his own. Slipped, tried to throw the left hook. Has not really done anything effective, really, against Williams yet, unless, Darren, you've seen something that I haven't.
No, I really haven't. I think Williams is using his jab really good, moving better. I just think he's the better boxer.
And right as we said that, Gutierrez actually landed a pretty nice right hand. Snapped back the head of Maurice Williams. Maurice shaking it off, though, working his way out of the corner, and really appears to be in command of this fight.
Yeah, he does, and I think he's, he's turned back southpaw now, and I don't know if he's doing that because he's getting a little tired or if that's just part of his game plan. A lot of times a fighter will turn different stance, to kind of regain their stamina and things like that.
Just to keep their opponent guessing, Gutierrez trying to unload against Williams in the corner. Williams covering up, works his way out again.
Hands up, Maurice. Lock those hooks.
Williams letting Gutierrez punch. Trying to bait him in with that jab, but when he doesn't, Williams unloads on him when it looks like Gutierrez least expects it.
Yeah, and Williams doing a good job of throwing the combinations and then circling out of there.
The bleeding we saw in the first round, I'm not sure where the cut was, maybe inside the mouth, but it doesn't appear to be a problem at this point. It's not obstructing Gutierrez's breathing or anything.
No, but I feel like as this fight's moving on, I think Williams getting a little more comfortable. I think he's figuring out Gutierrez. But Gutierrez still hadn't found his rhythm yet.
Gutierrez certainly having difficulty finding his range, figuring out Williams, and really getting anything effective done. Williams, very effective counterpuncher, especially with that left hook on the inside when Gutierrez throws that long right hand.
Good jab to the body there by Williams.
And another one.
Gutierrez follows up with a good jab and right hand. Oh.
Gutierrez has the heart. Williams lands a vicious combination that Gutierrez is laughing over here at the end of round 2. Williams versus Gutierrez at Remington Park in Oklahoma City. Here we go, round 3 of a 4-round fight. Our co-feature event of the night, Maurice Williams versus Paul Gutierrez here at Remington Park Casino in Oklahoma City. Joining us ringside, Darren Humphrey, former heavyweight champion. How did you score round 2?
I would give that round to Williams as well. I just feel like he's the better fighter. He's got the crisper punches. He seems to have the speed advantage. He just looks better to me. I think Gutierrez just hadn't found his rhythm. Maybe that 18-month layoff is having an effect.
And if you were working in Gutierrez's corner, what would you tell him?
Well, I would tell him, to keep that jab in Williams' face. Williams seems to be circling back and forth, staying out of range. I would tell Gutierrez to be like his nickname and keep that pistol jab in his face.
Williams with the footwork managed to get in and out very effectively.
Yeah, he looks good using his feet, getting in, throwing a couple of good jabs and moving out. I think he's frustrating Gutierrez at this point.
Gutierrez threw a big right hand. It might have been his best punch of the fight, but I think it woke up the beast in Maurice Williams as he countered with a vicious left hook coming off the ropes and then countered with a good 4-5 punch combination after that. We are in round 3 of a scheduled 4-rounder, Williams versus Gutierrez. No knockdowns yet, but Williams pretty much pitching a shutout at this point as he's dictating the action and the geography of the fight every step of the way.
Yeah, I think at this point Williams is probably just going to box his way to a unanimous decision. He's comfortable in there. He hadn't taken much punishment at all, and he's having fun, it looks like.
At this young stage of his career, would you advise Williams to ride it out get the points win or make a statement here by getting a big KO if he can?
Well, he's obviously young in his pro career. I don't think there's anything wrong with finding those rounds, getting those rounds in. But at the same time, you want your fighter to have that mentality of going ahead and taking somebody out if they can.
Taking him out increases the marketability. Gutierrez waves in Williams as his back is against the ropes. I think Williams may have hurt him with that straight left hand. He was fighting southpaw there when he had Gutierrez against the ropes and landed a straight left hand off that right hand jab. But Gutierrez, give it to him. Guy can take a punch, huh?
Yeah, he can. In my opinion, he's just kind of, I think he hadn't found his rhythm yet. Like I said earlier, he's just throwing one punch at a time where Williams is the better boxer. He just looks, he's throwing combinations. He's in and out. He looks good to me.
We are at the end of round 3, your fourth and final round from Remington Park coming up. It is the Rumble at Remington Park Casino in Oklahoma City. We are halfway through our co-main event of the night.
Six.
Some dispute in the ring over this fight, whether it's going to be 4 rounds or 6 rounds. It is a 6-round fight, which so far, after 3, Williams putting in a dominant performance.
Yeah, and this will be the first round that Williams hadn't come out and set the jab. This will be the first round that Williams hadn't come out and kept the jab in his face and all that. I felt like Gutierrez maybe got off at first in this round.
When you're fighting an effective counterpuncher like Williams, how quickly do you become tempted to stop throwing punches?
Well, that's a good question. There's nothing worse than trying to find your rhythm and somebody moving in and out on you and countering you. And obviously Williams is doing a good job of that tonight. But it doesn't look like Gutierrez is taking, he's not taking no for an answer. He keeps coming forward. He's throwing some heavy left hooks right here, and he's certainly not just going to cave in. It doesn't look like.
He is. Gutierrez's punches look sharp. They're not landing necessarily, but he's still got some snap to those punches as he throws out his jab. But right now, it's almost like Williams is stalking him. Gutierrez waiting for Williams to initiate the exchange. I think he's sick of catching those overhand rights when he throws his jab. When a counterpuncher starts initiating the exchanges, what does that tell you?
Just that he's real comfortable in there. He's not worried about getting hit. He believes in what he's doing, and he has no reason to counter. He's not afraid to get hit. He hadn't been hurt at all.
Do you think Gutierrez has shown the power so far to earn Williams' respect?
No, not yet. I don't think he's actually landed a big, good, solid punch yet in the fight. He's thrown several. A lot of them are heavy, but I don't think he's landed any clean shots. He looks good there, slipping the punches. I feel like maybe Gutierrez I think he's necessarily winning this round, but I think he looks a little better. He looks a little more comfortable on his feet.
This is definitely the best round Gutierrez has had so far. Not sure I'd give it to him yet, but the round's not over. He landed a really nice left hook to the body. There goes another right to the body of Williams as Gutierrez is finding his range a bit. Williams, though, is firing right back. This is the end of round 4, 6-round fight at Remington Park. Stay with us. We're back at Remington Park Casino in Oklahoma City. The co-main event brought to you by HD Boxing. Maurice Williams in red, Paul Gutierrez in blue. This is the 5th of 6 rounds tonight. Williams coming out, establishing his jab. He looks like he means business. Williams looks like he's looking to end this fight here in round 5. Although Gutierrez, you said, Darren, probably had his best round of the fight in round 4.
Yeah, I think he probably did, but I think I would still give it to Williams. Williams is coming out like a bounty hunter this round. He certainly didn't look like a counterpuncher at this point. Gutierrez lands probably his best combination of the fight, but Williams answers.
He does answer. Bounty hunting, maybe a little too much head hunting. I have yet to see Williams throw a body punch so far in this round.
Well, I think that's probably because he's, he's a little too comfortable in there, if that makes sense.
Oh, a little too comfortable, you think?
Perhaps. I think he's got this fight well under control. He knows it. You can tell by his body language.
Williams and Gutierrez trading punches in Williams' corner. Vicious body punches landed by Maurice Williams. Gutierrez, though, still standing, still coming forward, but not initiating the exchanges like he was in the earlier rounds.
No, he's not. I think he's probably, he's taken some punishment. Haven't been real heavy shots by Williams, but sharp, crisp punches. Those are the ones that hurt the worst to me. And you could tell Gutierrez is content with just putting his hands up and taking those shots.
His punch output has slowed considerably, I assume because most of the time he starts throwing, Williams is able to counter punch so beautifully.
Yeah.
And Williams up on his bicycle, circling around Gutierrez. This little ollie shuffle there is that a sign maybe he's a little too confident in there?
Well, maybe. He has a reason to be, though. He's won every second of this fight, in my opinion.
He has dominated the fight.
Oh, good uppercut there. Gutierrez is going to have to be careful of that. He's a little bit tired. He's kind of leaning in, and that's why he's getting hit with those uppercuts.
He is. Williams not even setting up that uppercut with the jab, but it's landing when he throws it from the outside. Gutierrez, looks like the gloves are waterlogged. Spraying out every time he lands, even if he hits an elbow.
There you go.
He's not even breathing hard.
Keep chopping on that tree, Reese. Keep chopping on that tree, Reese. Keep chopping on that tree, Reese.
And you hear Maurice Williams' corner telling him to chop down the tree. I think that's what he's been doing this whole time. He's just throwing good combination punches, landing when he needs to, moving out.
He has been very effective. There is the end of round 5. We'll stay with you through the beginning of round 6. See what the corners are saying to their fighters. So far, would you call this a shutout, Darren?
Yes, I would. I think Maurice has certainly been the more effective fighter at this point, and I think Gutierrez is kind of just waiting this fight out, to be honest with you.
And
he's tough, no doubt, but I think Williams has the advantage.
And so what do you think Gutierrez's corner is telling him right now?
Probably to keep boxing, keep his hands up, not to lean forward. If you notice in that last round, he leaned forward a couple times, and Williams was hitting him with that uppercut.
They're not amping him up to get the KO. They must know that he needs it to win.
Yeah, and they may be. I'm sure that's what they're doing at this point. He's way behind on the card, so a knockout's all he's going to be able to. The only way he's going to be able to win this fight.
Do you think Gutierrez has what it takes?
I don't think he does, but never say never in a fight.
That's true. Here we go. 6th and final round. Rumble at Remington. This is the co-main event. Maurice Williams in the red corner. Paul Gutierrez in blue with the orange trim. And Williams comes out like he means business, throwing straight lefts and rights from the outside. Gutierrez seems to have virtually no answer, nothing to return fire.
Yeah, and I think Williams is probably throwing some of his better combinations too. He's thrown a lot of good combinations, but in this round it seems like to me like he's just letting them go. I don't think he has anything to fear at this point.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's taking whatever chances he likes because he doesn't fear anything coming back his way. And this is really in a young fighter's life. Maurice Williams, just 24. This is only his fifth fight. How much of a learning experience, 6 rounds like this, how much can that help a fighter his age?
Well, I think it helps him a lot. They go from 4 to 6 rounds, and when you first turn pro, you fight your first 4-round fight. You're worried if you can go the whole 4 rounds or not, and then once you do, you get to that next level, and you kind of wonder if you can make it 6. And anytime you make it to that 6th round, you just have that much more confidence.
The crowd now getting excited as the seconds winding down the 6th and final round come to a close. Williams with a speedy combination. Little shoe shine downstairs, upstairs with the left hook.
And it looks to me like
he has Gutierrez in the corner and is unloading shots. Darren.
Yeah, it looks to me like Williams is maybe trying to end this fight. It seems to me like he has a little more on his punches, a little more intent.
I think he's been trying to end it for the last 2 rounds. Gutierrez sticks his tongue out, tries to say it doesn't hurt. That usually means it does.
It does, yes.
Williams extremely effective with that jab, setting up his other punches.
Show me some gold, Reese. Show me some gold, Reese. Show me some gold, baby.
We are here in the 6th and final round. After this, our main event, heavyweight rematch, Nick Jones versus Wayne Heath. The fight which the public has been clamoring for ever since their first bout back in November that ended in a majority decision for Jones. That is our main event. Coming after this, but the closing seconds of round number 6 between Williams and Gutierrez ends pretty much like it started. One-sided, Williams in control.
Well, to Maurice Williams' corner's credit, he didn't just coast these last couple of rounds and walk away with a victory. He's still trying to put him away.
Definitely made a statement to the crowd tonight. There is the bell ending our co-main event of the evening. We will be back with the judges' scorecards. Maurice Williams versus Paul Gutierrez. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Remington Park Casino in Oklahoma City. Let's send it up for the judges' decision.
How about a round of applause for that magnificent fight? Ladies and gentlemen, the co-main event of the evening, brought to you by the original Sailor Jerry Spiced Rum, goes to the scorecards. Judge Gerald Ritter scores the bout 59-54. Judge Sarah Atwood scores the bout 60-54. Judge Ronnie Wassel scores the bout 60-50. For your yet winner by unanimous decision, out of the red corner, Maurice, the Bounty Hunter Williams!
Darren Humphrey, I gotta say, the unanimous decision wasn't surprising. Scorecards were a little surprising. Looks like one of the judges scored it 10-10.
Yeah, they were. They were a little surprising. I'm not sure which round you could call even in that one. I think it was clear Williams won from top to bottom, in my opinion.
Well, we have one judge scoring one round, 10-10. It sounds like another judge scored at least one round, 10-8.
Right.
That was your co-main event of the night. Maurice Williams taking pictures with his corner, including his corner man, middleweight
ladies
contender,
and gentlemen, a word from your
Carson
winner
Jones.
of the co-main event here at the Pink Parrot Rumble at
Maurice
Remington.
Williams speaking to the crowd.
Hey, once again, I would like to thank everybody for coming here and showing support to all of the fighters. We all train hard every single camp, and we just come here to put on the show for all of you guys. So I would just like to say sincerely thank you for coming to show your support. And I would like to dedicate this fight right here to William Kirk. You know, I'd like everybody to just give condolences to the Kirk family. They're going through a hard time right now. And I would just like to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. We really do appreciate it. You guys have a good night.
The Bounty Hunter, Maurice Williams, ladies and gentlemen.